So. Hello? Does it work now? Yeah, it seems like to be. Is this the input? Yeah, it should be the input. Yeah, it is actually the input. Let's see if in the settings. So now it is actually the input. Sorry for sorry for doing that, but I have to. Yeah, because it's the fastest way to see if it's actually the phone that's going to be recorded and not like the internal microphone of the MacBook itself. But let's see. No, it should be fine like this. Hello and welcome to the next episode of the Self Development with Tactics podcast. And as you can see, today we are on another website, and this website is called thepowermoves.com. So everything written together, and then .com. And this is actually a site I found just by accident. Like today, I was just browsing some summary sites to see if there are another ones. Because with the SamuelThomasDavis.com website, this is an absolutely great website. Do not get me wrong, but you know, um, as you go through all these summaries, you then just be like, yeah, I wonder if there's something else. And I was just looking through a little bit, and then I was actually reading the first book on this website. I was reading, I do not remember, it was today in the train, but then I was reading Marcus Aurelius' Meditation, which seems to be a pretty great book, and I may cover it as well. And the good thing about this website is that he or she or they or whatever is making these summaries just categorizes all these books and then gives them ratings, which means that this is actually a book that got a pretty high rating, but as before I was going through it a little bit, and I was seeing that there must be quite a lot of translating today. But the thing is, I don't really want to be like, yeah, I can't go through the summary because I do not have the words or the vocabulary to do this. This would be, I would be a piece of shit for doing that, because I just do not give you the experience or give you the fun of talking with me about this book, or just yeah, just giving you the value. I would be a piece of shit. Do not get me wrong. And you may wonder that I actually have the old setup right now again, even though I said that the camera quality is such a piece of shit. Yeah, it's such a piece of shit. But the thing is, with the iPhone, it's not that better. And so I was deciding, yeah, either I have a slightly better video quality, or I have a decent audio quality. And I think with the iPhone, you get really great quality. So I have a iPhone 5S, just a pretty shitty old one. It's working like shit. Nothing is working. I have no storage, everything. But the thing is, the audio is quite great, and I'm sorry to might be a little bit spitting or just have a lot of fluid in my mouth, which may create some shitty sounds. Today a little shit here, but we actually have to start with the book because it is a pretty long one at my point of view. So let's start with the bullet summary, which are just a few key insights of the book. We like to perceive a positive and congruent image of ourselves, and we will go to great length to ensure it. Which is totally true. We all want to think about us as positive people. And this is also something that reminds me on how to influence people by Dale Carnegie, where he was talking about a few stories about the really dangerous criminals and also murderers or murder. I do not know it every time, but the thing is, he was talking about them, and the funny thing about all of them was that they all thought that they didn't do anything wrong. anything, even though they just killed 16, 17 people, just, just like it's nothing, and they all were like, it wasn't my fault, which plays into this hands that we just want to image or see ourselves as positive beings, even though we aren't actually. And the second one is to pursue the knowledgeable audience, present both sides of the argument, present one for ignorant audiences. And then I was just thinking about you should really know that I do not know shit. I am on my journey with you. And if I say something, it's just because I'm thinking about it, or it's, some kind of experience I made, or something out of a book that I've read, in my time of reading books. And so, I really don't want you to take everything for sure and everything like seriously. I am serious, yeah, but most of the time. And but I really want to let you know that I'm not the one to follow yet. I'm someone who is working with you, not, I'm not pretty much above you. It's, yeah, I think you got that. Because it seems for me a little bit often that, especially on Instagram, that I may seem like a person that's, achieved everything, knows such a lot of shit, and I don't know, whatever. But the thing is, I'm in my making. I'm just building myself up, and I'm building myself up through all these summaries I'm reading. What I'm doing here is, you can see it just as a business, and something I just do and something that I just love to do. But I'm not an expert yet in a lot of fields. I may be good in some fields. I do not really want to fuck myself, but yeah. And the third one is to inoculate people from persuasion, present a small persuasion attempt that people can refute, a bit like a vaccination shot. And I definitely can. I cannot even think. Am I not able to? Just have to reload it again, because it seems like I'm not able to, to copy anything. Yeah, maybe let's see if I can, take out my hacker, some sort of, no, this is not like what I meant. Yeah, this is it. Just see, and I have to make it a little bit bigger. This is some sort of, if there are websites that, do not let you copy anything, just can go into this, copy this, and then reload it again as the normal site. To just, most of the time you can just make a right click and then click on developer tools or inspect object or some things like that. And then you can actually grab the text of the site, even if they do not really want you to do this. Okay. I do not get it anyways. It's most of the time it's actually like that that I do not know it. Maybe a little bit bigger. Yeah, this should be fine. I'm just a little bit worried about if you actually can see everything on the screen here, so on the left side, because the text may be, really, really small. But let's go to the full summary. So this is just something from the author, the first paragraph here. Social psychology. Elliot Aronson defines social psychology as the influences that people have upon the beliefs, feelings, and behavior of others. We like to think highly of ourselves. One of our major goals as human beings is to maintain and enhance a positive view of ourselves. And the thing is, often we view ourselves a little bit better or more positive when other people are thinking about us more positive or better. This is actually then something why we actually buy shit that actually we do not care about, just to impress other people so that they like us or they get impressed by us so that we get more impressed by ourselves. And this is just what I'm thinking about. And this might be, even a point, and it would make sense. The self-serving bias is such an example. We think that other success is often because of situational circumstances, but we think our success is because of disproportional qualities we have. That's actually true. And I definitely have to keep attention to those things. But because what I gain through How to Win Friends and Influence People is just, a little bit more, keeping attention to what people are saying, how people are acting, and just, being a listener, just, observing these things and society and, also, which is pretty important on social media for me, because through listening, and this is, again, something that's Gary Vee talking about, listening is such an important thing, because without listening, you cannot know what people are into, what will be maybe the next trend, what think the people that may be interesting for you and for your company or for your business, what they are thinking or what they find important or what they think is lit or is just a piece of shit or whatever. Listening is important. Most of the time people are just talking and aren't listening also in social interactions, which is something I've been talking about as well. But it is pretty important at my point of view. We just all talk, but nobody ever listens, and this is a shitty thing to do at my point of view, because listening, just being interested in the other person you're talking with is can make incredible changes. Aronson, so the conformity and individuality. But basically, we take credit for the good and deny the bad. And that's true. Aronson defines conformity as a change in a person's behavior or opinions as a result of real or imagined pressure from a person or group of people. So this is then conformity. In the face of conformity pressure, individuals tend to avoid voicing their dissent. On occasions, individuals go with the flow of the majority even when they otherwise have strong personal reservations. Depending on the situations, individuals might even deny what seem incontrovertible evidence of the truth if the group does the same. Salomon Asch experiments on line lengths, which seems to be a link to another book. Over the course of 12 judgment, read that right, 3/4 of the individuals conformed at least once with the majority, even in the face of clearly wrong opinions. That makes totally sense. Because I would say, if just, that a lot of people are doing certain things and somebody asks you a question and you have 3 answers of them, so A, B and C, and that a lot of people are just taking C, you might be like, if I get this right. If not, I will always invite you to just write down in the comment that on minute 12 you was talking shit because this and that, and this meant actually this and not that. So what, you get what I mean. Because the thing is, I can really benefit from that, and also, which is more important, the people that are watching the videos, because hopefully they will go down in the description, at least now when I'm saying it, that I'm not actually sure. So please go down in the description and see if anybody has written something down there, or instead I would, or will just talk about this or write it down in the description or something if I see it or like the post, so that it is, up in the upper half of the comment section. But yeah, if you see that a lot of people just took the answer C, you will probably be like, yeah, somebody might have known the answer, so I will take this one, if this was meant. Brain scans showed a lot of activity in the amygdala among the people who resist. The amygdala is associated with pain and emotional discomfort, telling us that going against the group is painful, which is interesting. Yeah. Factors that increase conformity. There are many factors which can increase or decrease conformity, including anonymity of the group. 3 people in the group, same effects as groups of 16, which means that it doesn't make any sense if there are 3 people in it or 16. Perseverance or presence or absence of other dissenters. It is a pity that I can't actually take the text. It's a little bit bothering me. Prior commitment to the truth, only 6% conformed versus 25% without commitment. Accountability, people held accountable for accuracy had less conformity. Requests for accuracy, accountability and request for accuracy more powerful together. Self-esteem, high self-esteem people more independent. How secure the individual feels in the group, higher security, higher independence. Culture, conformity more prevalent in collectivist societies. People more independent, gender, small difference, but women consistently more conformists. Which I think makes some sort of sense, because in the early days I tend to really speak about our early days of the of the humankind, of the human beings. In these early days, women, because of their natural body structure and how they got built, aren't that physical strong as men were. Nowadays you can't really say this, because there are people or women being precisely that just work out and they look massive and they look like they can destroy me with one punch and just tear me apart with 2 fingers and something like this. Yeah. And this is amazing, first of all, because I think that's great that if these people like it, they should always be doing these things. But what I initially wanted to say is that because they weren't too strong alone, they really had to go in groups of more people or more women to have a chance against wild animals or in general predators, at my point of view now. So group traits, experts, high social status, similar or different from the subject, which makes also totally sense. If the question was about your subject, you just give a total fuck about what other people are saying, because you have actual knowledge in this field. And if not, you may be like, again, yeah, there might be people that have a clue about all these, or just are pretty educated in these fields, and so you might be like, yeah, this answer might be right, because there are more people that took this. Does conformity change minds? It depends. In the case of Ash's experiment of guessing the length of a line, group pressure only changed public opinions and not what people believe to be true. However, Leon Festinger says that when reality becomes more complex and uncertain, people rely more and more on social reality. When reality is difficult to assess, indeed, individual conforms to the group not out of fear of punishment or exclusion, but because the group supplies the only viable information. Experiments on littering in a parking lot to show conformity to social norms. People kept the place clean if it was clean. Yeah, because this makes also some kind of sense, because if this place is just fucked up already, most of the people might be like, yeah, it doesn't matter if my litter lays around there or not. And if it's a um, pretty clean place, people might be like, yeah, I do not really want to be their own person, or the only person, sorry, to just fuck this place apart. But it really, reminds me on the toilets in my school, which are really fucked up. Often it seems, especially in the women's toilets, that they do not even clean them, which is, I can understand this, because I wouldn't want to clean toilets as well. And but the thing is, if they aren't clean, people might not feel like, or maybe I'm not feeling like, leaving it clean again. But if it's clean before, I'm at maybe, or I think actually, like, yeah, I really want to be the person that's, pissing all over it, of the toilet, or over the toilet. But yeah, Elliot Aronson proposes not to use the term conformity, which is too general, but of using instead three terms depending on the response to social influence: compliance, conforming out of fear, bending to power. In identification, we are attracted to the person or group, want to be the same and the opposite. If we don't like, we are less likely to conform. Works mostly if we don't have strongly held opinion on a subject. Internalization, we wholeheartedly agree and identify with the group or source of influence. Credibility of the source is important here. It's an important difference. In compliance, the behavior changes only until the group or threat is present. Albeit, permanence can be increased with commitment to stay within the group, and if we discover our changed behavior is good for us. For example, I might say in public, I don't like a political candidate, but then vote for him in private. In identification, internalization, instead, the behavioral change is permanent. So I would really like to translate all these things, because I think these are actually things that could be really important for me. But the thing is, I do not really understand them, which is a pity, and which is a little bit pissing me off, especially because of that, or because I can't really talk about it, and so it's just me reading, which I always tend to not to, because it's not the point of videos that I only read, because you could read it again or yourself. Conformity and letting people die. Elliot Aronson in The Social Animal talks at length about conformity and diffusion of conformity. Just I have to conformity. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the exact same translation as could I even okay. No. Okay. So he says that it is impossible for people to fall ill in the middle of a crowded street with people helping. That's another case of conformity, and it happens because people can't fall ill when people are around. That would help. So I think it's important that people actually know that they would help. And then I think you just feel secure, and if you feel secure mentally, because of my point of view, or at my point of view, your body is so fucking deeply connected with your mind, you will then, be like, yeah, not fall ill just because you think it, or think about it, or just are secured mentally, or feel secure mentally. People look at others to see if it is serious, and if nobody acts, nobody will. If someone's on the floor already, people think that if nobody intervened, there is no need to. This is actually something I was hearing or reading, I don't know. I think it was hearing, actually, in the TV, or I was talking with someone, or just heard somebody talking about it, nevertheless, or anyways. you know you or might know, and hopefully you don't know the situation when somebody is laying on the ground, maybe asking for help and whatever, and the more people that are around this person, the less will just really help them or help her or him or this person, which is actually fucked me up. It just fucks me up mentally because it doesn't make any sense. But the thing is, at the other side, it just makes some sense because if they just say, if someone's on the floor already, people think that if nobody intervened, there is no need to. Because people actually think that because nobody helped him or her or it, if it's an animal even, you don't even have to as well, which doesn't make any sense, but it makes sense as well. It's both sides, which is, and really fucked up part about it. But yeah, we don't need to feel guilty if we can keep on walking. Okay, help will be less forthcoming if, what does forthcoming mean? Forthcoming. Okay, yeah, I think I understand. It's difficult to assess seriousness. Helping is costly or dangerous. People less likely to help bloodied victims. Yeah, I think most people do not like to see blood subconsciously, not even consciously, because it might be also something that's brought nature into our brains or our patterns of thinking and so on. You don't think you can actually help, and you will be stuck with the situation for long. You don't think that you can actually help. It is something that I actually believe that people are thinking this, even though it's completely shit. And I actually think, and this just reminds me of so many things that people always think like, yeah, I can do that and I can do this and I can do that just before actually or trying to do these things, which do not make any sense for me. Because if you haven't even tried these things, why would you then be just, before even trying, like, yeah, I can do this and I can do that. It doesn't work out, and I don't know. At my point of view, you should always be trying. If it's something different, don't try it. Something different, something dangerous, do not try it. If it's just some normal shit, try it. If you can't lose anything, try it. Just, because of procrastination or I don't know what you might be thinking. But try it. You can it. You are able to. I know it. Even if you do not know it yourself, I know it. I do not know it. I do not know you and do not know your situation. But please just do it. We just really stop with thinking about it in theory. We are in an era where all the people aren't doing anymore. And I don't understand it. But yeah. The tendency to help can be increased if people can help easily. Helping will have a strong and direct impact. I will not even read along or read ahead, because helping will have a strong and direct impact on themselves. And this is actually related to what they were talking about before, which was, if you do not know, people are always trying to bring themselves into a good light, or just they have to think about themselves positively, or just good. And if it has an impact on the view others have of them, or they have even on themselves, they will do it because they know that it will help them be a little bit higher in the society pyramid of, I don't know, eating shit. No, just of the society pyramid. And but then at my point of view, they will probably do it. But I will read. Helping will have a strong and direct impact. Less people help when pain is intense because they don't think they can do much. So it was just something else, but never mind. I'm just I really mean what I was saying just before, or I just trust in it, or I'm honestly with it. No, never mind. So if there's a sense of shared meaning, which means camping where people feel like kindred souls, it's difficult to move away in the subway, car versus the street. So if there is a sense of shared meaning, and if it is difficult, the power of advertising. Aronson explains how the power of by the way, this is, if you haven't seen the post, normal advertising or normal ads in a newspaper and magazine both cost around $16 or $16 or whatever it was. Yes, it was measured in dollars actually. Will cost you $16 to reach around 1,000 people. The problem with newspapers and magazines and all these things is that they most of the time reach potentially more people, which then means that I think most of the time they maybe are reaching about, I don't know, 100,000 people if it's a big city, or even more. And then you have to think about it. Yeah, 16 times 100 would be then $160 for just reaching these 100,000 people potentially. But the thing is, with offline advertising, at my point of view, it is like, you can't really interact with it. You just see it in the newspaper and you just, leave this site or whatever. But the thing is, social media marketing, but not marketing, but advertising, has an average cost of $2.50. You can potentially reach 1,000 people with under $3. And at my point of view, because of all these interactions you can do, or also because you can do just, or can reach just a lot more people with that, it is just especially for upcoming firms or companies or upcoming startups and all these things. Social media marketing or social media advertising and in general online advertising is pretty important. But let's go ahead reading. Aronson explains how the power of advertising is highest in children, but they quickly catch on. Skepticism goes up not just with age, but also with education. However, that's not to say that skeptics are immune to commercials. Usually there's a relation between exposure, or how often we are exposed to a commercial, and to how much we believe it to be true. Which I think just means that if you see a commercial just like, every 10 seconds, you will actually believe in it. And this also contributes to the thinking of just using online advertising, because it isn't that expensive as offline advertising. You can just do more of it. You can just make one day of this ad and another day as well, and another day and another day and another day and another day. But your newspaper or magazine ad is only in this one magazine. And this one magazine, the person read it and then they throw it away. But I do not really want to sell you online advertising. I only think that it is a good way. But I do not really want to say that offline marketing is full of shit and, isn't or can't be used for anything. There are reasons why to use offline marketing, especially if you have maybe a target audience of 70 plus. They might not be too much people 70 plus on, I don't know, Facebook or Instagram. It's just what it is today. I think, I do not know the data exactly, but I suppose it to be like this. Usually there is a relation, I've read that, and there is a note of the author. This was a major flaw in The Social Animal for me, as the author didn't question the causation here. For example, he didn't consider that politicians who get more donation to run ads are also already more likely to win. So just before, Aronson says that candidates who spend most money on TV commercials are also most likely to win the election. Which then means, as the author of this article says, that if you have more money, the chances are just better for you to win, because people will see your things more and more. And this also, as I'm just thinking about it, this is also contributing to thinking of just creating value, or not value, also value, but volume. And this is actually something I've been trying on my social media channels, so heavily. I'm putting out 6 posts on 3 platforms, and on YouTube I make one, and on a podcast I make at least one. And this is just like, if more people see my shit, more people would maybe be into my shit. This is good for me. The central and peripheral routes to persuasion. There are 2 ways to persuasion: weighing arguments with facts and figures, or in less judicious, it's JUDICIOUS manner. Aronson doesn't exactly use the terms here, but it seems like the old argument of logic versus emotions. And we are most skeptical to the peripheral routes that we would think, for example. And this is also something that I have been reading before, which is something really difficult at my point of view. What I'm describing now is just, the facts versus your emotions. Because it doesn't matter how the facts are. We are most likely to just choose something that's either familiar to us or something that we would just like to be true. It seems like, it seems like it seems like, I'm joking, but I'm not. And it is actually something I've been experiencing before, and I think you have experienced as well. You had a question, or you had just a choice, and you had a few answers to it, you had just a few options of it, or to it, or whatever. And then you was like, you took something you just want to have, or just, wanted to be true, or maybe was familiar to you. Or the thing is, what I want to say, we often just choose something that's not, because of our emotions, not because the facts are just, the facts are black on white. But the thing is, we just, choose through our emotions. At the end, most important is that you are choosing your option because it contributes your goals you have in your future, or you have in your life, and or it contributes your values, which is, at my point of view, and I've been talking about it just a lot before, it is really important that you know your goals and you know your values. Because if you have your goals and values, you can just decide all your decisions you have to make in your life. Because all of these choices you could make should be based then on your values and goals. Your values and goals. Because it wouldn't make any sense to choose something else that's not contributing either your values or your goals. Because if you choose something else, why would you? Doesn't make any sense. But so the examples, slogans that rhyme convince us more. Okay. Clever nicknames, death tax to convince people against succession tax, which is interesting. Communication persuasiveness. So it's persuasiveness or persuasiveness. Aaron says that there are 3 major variables that command the persuasive power of communication. The source of communication, who says it? What's persuasiveness? Persuasiveness? No. Persuasiveness. persuasiveness. Yeah, was just thinking about this. The source of communication, who is saying is, makes sense. If you're talking about a scientific topic, you would be more impressed by someone who is actually educated in this field than by someone who is just someone, not just like Nobel Prize owner is the first one, and then the second one is, I don't know, someone who is working in Starbucks, and I think you might choose the better educated person. The nature of the community, I don't know what I'm talking now. But yeah, I know what I'm talking, but I can't express it like I wanted to today. The nature of the communication, how he says it, which is, I think, really important. First of all, how he says is in terms, or she actually, it's not about always him, how she is saying it in terms of the words she uses and the structures she uses, and especially the tone of voice she has, because this makes a really, really big difference at my point of view. The audience to whom he says it. Yeah, makes sense, because if they or he is telling to kindergarten kids, then they might not be that interested in him, first of all. And second of all, they have just, really other patterns to choose whom they might be trusting. Yeah. Will I go through this? I would be very interested in it. And no, but I think I'm just talking also a little bit now. I really have to thank you for being with me this time. It wasn't that a great episode, and I'm really sorry for that if you didn't get something out of it. But I'm really of the point of view that you got more out of it than I have, because I just do not understand what it is all about. And me not being able to translate anything is also just, something that's not that good. But I shouldn't complain, everything is fine. I've made this episode for today, and I know that you will get something out of it. This is just, the most important thing for me for now, because, I might be not feeling good about this episode, but, just because I do not like it doesn't mean that you do not like it or somebody else isn't liking it. So the thing is, and it is just some kind of tip for you as well, I think. If you're a content producer either on, I don't know, YouTube or Facebook or Instagram or whatever platform you are, just put out all the content you have. It's not like, perfection is total bullshit. Perfection doesn't make any sense, it's inhuman, and nothing is perfect. Yeah, we all want things to be perfect, but it just isn't, and we all have to cope with it, and all have to agree with it, and we all have to be sure about it, and just know it. So put out your stuff, value and volume. I always say value, but I actually mean volume. Volume, as you can see by this episode or through this episode, is very important, because people just like you more, or just trust you more, or maybe believe in you more, because they just see your posts over and over and over and over and over again. But I hope deeply that you have a wonderful day, a wonderful night, whatever country you are in or time zone, and that everything is good in your life. You have the wealth, you have the health, and if you do not have the wealth, just either be patient or work on something besides your job that, just something you love, to monetize it some little time after. But I understand that people have to work on things or have to work a job that they actually do not like because they need the money. This makes sense to me. And I also think that I will have to work a normal job before I can, monetize my passions or my, how did I say, like this YouTube thing. But I hope you have wealth, health, and everything. And the most important thing is that you are happy and I wish so deeply that you are happy, who is just, maybe listening to me, maybe watching me. And the actual thing is, I really hope, and I should really hope, I should either say I should really hope that nobody has to listen to it or has to watch this, because this means that someone isn't that happy, maybe. Or if you're just, like information and value, it's great. But I just hope you have the health and wealth and happiness you want. This is really something I wish everybody, especially happiness. It's nothing worse than being unhappy every day. It's just, drowns everybody's soul and body. But to leave it with a positive vibe, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you the next time. I love you.